This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, October the 20th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the big story for today, which is courtesy of CNN. They are running a story about leaked US intel documents which show Israel's plans to strike Iran, kind of show some of Israel's plans to strike Iran, kind of, sort of. I don't know. I don't know. I saw these documents. It's two documents. They're floating all over the interwebs now. They've been confirmed. I believe CNN has confirmed that these documents are legitimate. The US government is investigating how this could have leaked. But I'm not quite sure what exactly these documents really expose, really show us. One of the docs has to deal with Israel moving around their military assets. Another document talks about let's go straight. Another document talks about using drones and their air force and they're conducting exercises or stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't really see what's so revealing about this document leak, except for the fact that a document leaked, and these aren't Israeli documents. These are U.S. government documents that CNN claims the U.S. intel was sharing these documents with Five Eyes, and I think the biggest revelation, from what I understand, is that according to CNN, the U.S. Intel agency that was going to share these documents, that created these documents, they are basically telling the Five Eyes that they're not quite sure when and how Israel is going to retaliate against Iran. I think that was the most revealing part about these documents, from my understanding. Anyway, that's the CNN big story. And yesterday we also had the story of a drone. Was it a drone that hit Netanyahu's summer home or summer villa or holiday villa or whatever this place is, where Netanyahu stays some of the time. And from what I understand, this was, or at least the reports are saying, this was a Hezbollah drone. Netanyahu was not at the residence at the time. And now you have Netanyahu government officials saying that the fact that Hezbollah, allegedly Hezbollah, from what I understand, they're saying Hezbollah sent this drone to Netanyahu's villa. This is some sort of an act of war, something like that. That was the other big story from yesterday. Kind of a big story. No chance of de-escalation. There's no chance of an off-ramp to this conflict. Too many hardliners want this war. So every day it's something new that pushes us towards a big conflict in the Middle East. Every day it's something new. Blinken is on his way to the Middle East, by the way. Blinken is going to go to the Middle East. He's going to meet with Israeli officials, and then I think he's going to meet with other leaders in the region. The official narrative is that he's trying to, I imagine the official narrative, I guess the narrative is that he's trying to broker a ceasefire or try to get some sort of resolution to the situation in the Middle East, so we don't have a big, wider war. But I think it's the exact opposite. I think what Blinken is going to be doing in the Middle East is he's going to be speaking with countries in the region, trying to convince them to allow Israel to use their airspace. That would be my guess. But Blinken traveling to the region is never a good thing. He's an awful diplomat. Whenever he goes somewhere, trouble usually follows. Trying to think, which way should I go? Let's go. Kind of lost. Let's go this way. These neighborhoods. All the streets look the same. So in France, we had the foreign minister, Jean-Noël Barrot, say that France supports Ukraine and NATO now. Now he wants Ukraine and NATO now. I imagine this is the official French policy, what the foreign minister is saying. And when I talked about the countries in the collective West's stance on Ukraine entering NATO now, when I did that video a couple of days ago, I said that I bet you Macron is even going to be against Ukraine getting into NATO right away. And then he'll flip-flop back and forth, but ultimately he'll be against Ukraine getting into NATO. Well, I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong. He wants Ukraine into NATO now. But I'll put money on it. I will bet you that in a couple of weeks' time, Macron will come out with a statement saying, Ukraine really shouldn't get into NATO at this moment. He'll flip-flop back and forth. Right now, the official policy, at least from the foreign minister, is that France supports immediate Ukraine entry into NATO. Quote, as far as Ukraine's invitation to NATO, we do not rule it out and are holding discussions on this issue with our partners, Barrot said. All right. France wants World War III, right? They want World War III because Ukraine into NATO, immediately into NATO, is World War III. Good to know that this is France's position. And Le Monde, they are reporting that in Berlin, when Biden met with Macron and Pirate Schultz and Stammer, that the Biden White House, according to Le Monde, has no real objections to Ukraine entering NATO. They don't really have any reasons why Ukraine should not enter NATO, but everything is on hold until the US elections. According to Le Monde, if Harris wins in November, then according to their sources, anonymous sources, of course, it's always anonymous sources, then Biden will start the process of getting Ukraine into NATO if Harris wins. If Harris doesn't win, then everything's going to just be dumped on Trump. So vote for Harris is, I mean, what are they saying? What are they saying? If Harris wins, we go to World War III. Is that what Le Monde is saying? Not me. Not me. I'm not saying that. That's what Le Monde is hinting at, right? If Harris wins, then Biden moves to put Ukraine into NATO right away, which would be the ultimate red line crossed for Russia, and God knows what happens after that. That's what Le Monde is reporting. Le Monde also said that in Berlin, it was split between the four European Quad members, the four Musketeers. It was Biden and Schultz, who said that there's no consensus for Ukraine to enter NATO. And it was Macron and Stammer, who were saying consensus, conscientious. Ukraine should get into NATO right away, right now. Let's get Ukraine into NATO. So that was the split. The UK and France for immediate entry into NATO for Ukraine, and it was Biden and Schultz who were saying, whoa, let's not rush into this. Let's wait till after the elections. And at the moment, there's no consensus for Ukraine into NATO. Le Monde says that even if Biden was to put a rush on Ukraine entering NATO, Turkey, most likely Turkey and Hungary, would put a stop to it. Slovakia as well, they would put a stop to it. So that was the reporting from Le Monde. You can hear the cicadas, huh? And some guy's playing music down there. Some guy on his guitar is playing a tune. I can't make out the song. So the Biden White House, according to the mainstream media, is going to approve up to $20 billion to Ukraine, a $20 billion loan to Project Ukraine. This is part of the $50 billion EU, US, Canada loan scheme that I've talked about in many videos in the past. And the EU, they said that they would put 35 billion a couple of days ago. Now it looks like the EU is just going to have to put in 30 billion, depending on what other collective Western nations put in, specifically Canada. But right now we have 20 billion, according to Biden, is going to go to Ukraine in the form of a loan. 30 billion, 35 billion is what the EU has pledged, but they'll most likely put less than that. And that's going to make up the 50 billion loan. And the Biden White House said, this is the important part of this story. They said that the loan is going to be paid back by the Russian interest on the Russian frozen assets because Russian interest on Russian frozen assets, it pays back everything. It pays back everything. I was at the shop earlier this morning, and I bought some things at the kiosk, the BITCHUTE. And I just paid for it with interest from the Russian frozen assets. Yeah, that's how I'm paying for things these days. I just have my interest on Russian frozen assets card. It's just a card that says I'll pay you back with the interest on Russian frozen assets. And the store owner, they just say, "Oh, okay, that's cool." So that's how I'm paying for all of my stuff. But yeah, they said that this is going to be paid for with the interest on the Russian frozen assets. And another important part of this 20 billion loan is that the Biden White House, they are saying that the 20 billion is going to be given no matter what. It's not going to be contingent on the EU voting to get rid of their 6-month sanctions renewal policy and turn it into 3 years. That's what was holding back U.S. money, is that they didn't like the fact that every 6 months the EU has to vote on keeping sanctions on Russia, and they wanted the EU to extend it to a longer period. So the EU, they wanted to extend it to 3 years. Every 3 years, EU member states vote to put sanctions, to keep sanctions on Russia every 3 years. And Hungary was vetoing this initiative because for Hungary, their logic, which is absolutely correct, is every few years is pretty much just saying that the sanctions are forever, are permanent, when we should examine them every 6 months and try to remove sanctions and try to get back to a relationship with Russia and trading with Russia. But every 3 years effectively means that the sanctions are going to remain forever. And the Biden White House said, you know what, we don't even care anymore. We don't care, 6 months, 3 years, whatever the EU votes on with regards to keeping sanctions on Russia, we don't care. We're going to give 20 billion loan and to Zelensky, and that's that. So I imagine the American people are not going to be very happy. American citizens are not going to be happy about 20 billion loan to Ukraine. Wow, 20 billion loan. How much did citizens get from the hurricane who were affected by the hurricanes a couple of weeks ago? Was it a $750 loan? Was that it? This is not going to go over well with the American people, but I think Biden doesn't care. The Biden White House doesn't care. They want to get all the money they can to Project Ukraine and wrap this whole thing up, right? Let's get everything approved. Whatever money we have budgeted to go to Project Ukraine, let's get it approved. Let's get it to Zelensky. Let's get it in the washing machine and let's get it spinning. Let's get it spinning. And who cares what the American people think? Who cares what they say? For the Biden White House, for Biden himself, this may actually be something that he's looking to do to piss off the American people, because who are they going to punish for the fact that the money's going to Zelensky and doesn't go to the pocket of the American citizens that were affected by the hurricane? They can't punish Biden. They punish Harris. And we all know what Axios reported a couple of days ago, which is that Biden and Harris, they don't like each other, and Biden is trying to sabotage Harris's campaign. That's what Axios reported a couple of days ago. So maybe this is deliberate from Biden. It's a win-win for Biden. He gets the money to Ukraine. They get it in the washing machine, spinning and laundering, and he gets to stick it to Harris, because ultimately, in November, when Americans vote, they might punish Harris for all the money that is going to the man in the green T-shirt. And finally, let's talk about Reuters. Reuters' report that Putin at the BRICS Kazan, he is indeed going to present a financial architecture to trade outside of the USD. And it is going to be blockchain, and it's going to work with central banks. And Reuters is reporting that the purpose of all of this is to finally do away with the US dollar reserve currency, to be done with it for BRICS, for all the countries in BRICS and all the trade that's going to take place to be done with the US dollar. And Reuters is concerned. And if Reuters is concerned, then you know the collective West is very much concerned with this initiative from Putin. An update from Reuters on North Korea. They are saying that Lloyd Austin cannot confirm reports that North Korean troops are going to Russia. North Korean troops in Russia for possible Ukraine deployment. That is what Reuters is reporting. So Lloyd Austin has no idea what is going on with this North Korean troops fighting for Russia in Ukraine. He cannot confirm any of this. And today's Clown World is courtesy of The Atlantic. Today's going to be a quick video from The Atlantic, authored by Anne Applebaum, who is a super duper uber neocon. I believe she is married to the foreign minister of Poland. Thank you, USA, Sikorsky. She put out an article with the title, "Trump is speaking like the mustache man, Stalin, and Musolini. The former president has brought dehumanizing language into American presidential politics. He is speaking like all of these three guys, all of them wrapped up into one." I don't think I need to make any comment about the title of this article from The Atlantic, from Chief Neocon and Applebaum. I just did a circle, actually, pretty much a circle. Anyway, that is the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch like this limited edition Locals Duran t-shirt. October 20 gets you 20% off all merchandise on the Duran shop. Take care.